Devin Haney. Now he trying to punch his way out of a gun charge. Shout out to Devin Haney. Man, listen. I told y'all. I told y'all last week. I just told y'all that these dudes was idiots. I just told y'all that they getting finessed. I just told y'all this. Oh man, Anton is always getting on the young bulls. No, I'm giving these little niggas tough love because I'm trying to help y'all to understand that it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. Devin Haney, as talented as he is ignorant. He's getting finessed. They always put themselves in the same position every single time. Now, you can make the argument and say, oh, it's just a little gun charge. No big deal. He going to be able to get out and all of this other type of stuff, right? Sure. Bailed out on $35,000 bail. They going to make sure that their prize fighter is out of jail and because they want you to be able to fight. But tell me that his trajectory is literally not on the same path as somebody like an Adrian Broner. Have we not seen this story play out over and over and over and over again? And I want him to be successful, right? As much as I poke fun at Devin Haney for talking shit on Instagram, I don't ever want to see nobody's bags get messed up. I never want to see nobody's bags get messed up. And I know that he's a prize fighter, right? Similar to how they used to do y'all slaves on Candyland. Y'all ever seen Django and what they described as a prize fighter? And the minute that he ain't a prize anymore, you know what they gonna do? Wash their hands of him. And then I'm gonna be sitting there trying to pick up the pieces and help him to understand, hey, Devin, you should have invested your money a little bit differently instead of buying all of that costume jewelry. But neither here nor there. Let's continue. I'm going to read the reports for you. All right? I'm going to read the reports for you because I want you to understand the type of situation that this guy is finding himself in that we predicted no less than a week ago, about a week ago, right? So I'm going to read the report for you, and then I want y'all to tell me whether or not. Devin Haney, boxing star, arrested, cops say. A semi-automatic handgun or a semi-automatic gun was found in the car. If this is not the typical athlete, I want to mess up everything story. Okay, let's continue. According to TMZ Sports, he was arrested Thursday morning following a night out in Hollywood. After cops say they found a semi-automatic handgun in his car during a routine traffic stop. He was out at Catch in LA on Wednesday when just minutes after he left the hotspot around midnight, law enforcement tells TMZ the cops pulled over his ride due to an unsafe lane change and failure to use a turn signal. According to authorities, Haney was not driving, but the person who told the officers during the traffic stop that there was a firearm in the car. So, first question that we got to ask ourselves is, who he got around him? Who he got around him? Is this not the Ja Morant story again? First question that we got to ask ourselves is, who he got around him, right? Because they said it's a handgun under the driver's seat. Now, I'm assuming that he has security with him. Or maybe not. Maybe it was just one of his homeboys that was pretending to be security. Could it have been one of his homeboys? Could it have been one of his homies who he put on that he's saying was security? Either way, let me break down this story for y'all. So the first guy they pull out of the car, they say, listen, what's going on, big dog? He say, yo, fam, it's a handgun under the seat. All right, cool. Cops say when they got Haney and his security out of the car, and when they searched the vehicle, they found a semi-automatic handgun under the driver's seat. Law enforcement said no one took ownership of the gun, and when they and since the car was registered to Haney, he was arrested and booked for felony possession of a concealed weapon. Jail records show he was released at 8:12 a.m. Thursday on $35,000 bail. He's due in court on a hearing on the matter next month. And so, now that we understand what it is that we're dealing with, young bull, talented, having conversations, going out to the nightclub, being on the scene, wearing the costume jewelry, he feels invincible right now. He feels invincible right now, right? You know what the funniest part about it is? If you talk to some of these, I'll say seasoned, it's largely documented, and plenty of people talked about it. Paul George talked about it on his podcast. Gilbert Arena talked about it on a regular basis. No Chill Gil be chilling by his lonely. Kobe Bryant was never in the scene. Once he got caught up that one time with that one chick, Kobe Bryant stayed out of the fray. He understood the assignment. He understood how he was going to move it. Look, I know how much security costs. I know how much it costs to have people walking around with you. I know how much they stealing out of this dude's pockets. I know how much he getting finessed when it comes to his jewelry. It's a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game. The game is, let me tell you what the real game of life is. Devin Haney, and this is not even me dissing him. This ain't got nothing to do with none of that, right? This ain't got nothing to do with Instagram. He has a finite window. A finite window of earning potential, right? Because you don't want to be Roy, as much as I like Roy Jones Jr., you don't want to be Roy Jones Jr. trying to fight in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s in order to get a payday, right? So you got a finite window, right? We all do. But most of us that look at things from a business perspective, let's say, you're a content creator or you're in corporate America or you own businesses, your earning potential is much wider because for us regular guys that then get it slower and then we ascend higher, our earning potential, we usually hit our peak in our late 50s, early 60s, right? But for an athlete, in most instances, not all, but in most instances, they have a finite amount of time in which they can earn a certain amount of money, right? So then you take the cut from the people that represent you and your manager, and then you get the cut out from the security, and then you get the cut out from your trainers and your business expenses. And then you got to pay taxes because you live in the highest tax state, and so you're giving over half of your stuff. And then you got to pay for your jewelry. Then you got to pay for your cars. Then you got to pay for your lifestyle. And then everybody around you want to eat. And then you got the hoes that's on your side, and they getting money and they finessing you and all of that, right? And so at 24, 25, 26, he's going to feel like he's on top of the world because in his mind, all he has to do is stay undefeated. He got to go out here and he got to do the clown show shit in order to show off for the media, in order to make them entertained so that he can try to sell the fight because nobody buys boring fights. So I get that he's got to sell the fight, right? And then after that, he's got to try to make as much money as he possibly can and get the biggest paydays, hoping that somebody don't beat his ass and hit him with a knockout, right? So his window and his earning potential is this until it's not, right? So either he got to save, he got to understand how money works and invest effectively, because just because you invest doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a return on your money, right? And so what I'm saying is this. At 26, let's say you got another 50, 60 years of living ahead of you. Let's say you got another 60 years. So whatever you make after taxes, is the money that you're going to have to survive on. And if you don't understand how to really make that principle multiply, you got to figure out how to live off that for the rest of your life. because you're not going to be able to sustain that same lifestyle. You're going to evolve, you're going to grow, you're going to realize that there's certain people around you that's robbing you. Security is costing you a lot of money. All of the cars that you got today is not going to be worth shit because we're going to have something that's a fucking spaceship. A year from now, 2 years from now, it's always going to be another car. The cars that we thought was dope 10 years ago is not dope today. So you got to keep up with the Joneses in order to try to stay relevant. It's tiring. It's old, right? And so when you start to evolve, and I get the branding aspect of it because they all want to be Floyd. We see AB crash out and burn out. What the fuck, right? He's no Javante Davis, let's be clear. But they all want to be Floyd, and so they're trying to take Floyd's blueprint and do the same thing. But it's only one Floyd, right? And so what I'm saying is this. You got to be smarter, my G. Young man. You got to be smarter. It's cheaper. It's much, much cheaper not to show off for people that don't give a fuck about you as far as being out there in the streets. That way you ain't got to start paying for lawyers and people to get you out of jail. And then you got to continue to earn so that you can maintain this image in order to impress people that's not even going to care about you a year from now. It's much cheaper to move in silence and be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and buy assets that then appreciate over time instead of things and trinkets and costume jewelry for people that don't give a fuck about you. It seems cool now, but whatever you got to do, get it out of your system as fast as possible so that you don't find yourself in a difficult situation like your peers that came before you. And all of them are going to say, well, it ain't going to happen to me. I ain't going to become Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner still talking about billions. That's his brand. About billions. He just about broke. He need to change his name from AB to JOB. Just over broke. Just over broke. And see, I'm going to be rich forever. I'm going to be rich forever. Forever. That's my advice. That's my advice.